drunkenly said that I never found my husband attractive during Truth or Dare. His reaction crushed me. My God, the drama that took place after I admitted that I never found my husband attractive. I mean, it was not even a big deal. There are lots of people who get married for various reasons. What if I did the same? I did not understand the reason for such backlash from my husband, which I feel was unwarranted. I know lots of people who are still in a relationship, even if they don't find their partner attractive. Even you would know at least 10 people like this, right? I am sure you do, even if you don't admit it. It is not very uncommon for people to stay in a relationship not for physical attraction, but for other things like shared values, emotional attachment, compatibility, and all sorts of weird things. I myself see that quite a lot, so I don't see why it exploded when I revealed that I was not attracted to my husband. You can see the roller coaster of events that happened with a little background to my life, so that you can have an idea about what the hell all this is about. To everyone reading this, my name is Sheila, female 27, married to Caleb, male 42. I can sense many of you disapproving of the age gap, but you know what I feel like I made a very practical decision because marriage is something that is going to keep you secure throughout your life. I might be giving you all gold digger vibes, but I really don't care about what people think about me because I knew that I was not crazy in love with him, but he was a nice man who I could think of as my husband. I knew that he would take care of me and make sure that I stayed happy. I think that is exactly what a girl needs in a man, and the judgments were not something that was going to stop me from losing this opportunity. I was very confident about my choice and knew that this would be the turning point in my life in a positive way. Caleb and I had lots of judgment from everyone when we got married, but we were very sure about our love for each other and did not need a prenup for the same reason. I did not mind that I was his second wife because he made me so comfortable and safe just by staying by his side. Everyone needs a second chance at happiness, and I was willing to give that to him. He showered me love and affection and made sure that I was looked after even if he was not around. I felt like a princess from a Disney movie whenever he was with me. I was never made to feel like I was the second woman in his life. He would never compare me to her and would cancel everyone who tried to let me know how his first wife was so great at things and made me feel little. I was grateful to him for being so considerate and let me know that I was the most important person to him. If I felt uncomfortable in a situation, he would just leave that place. After the honeymoon phase faded, life started getting real. He went back to his work after a long holiday of 3 months for our honeymoon. It was the best time of my life. He asked me to make myself dwell in things that interested me as he would have to get back to work. I told him that all I wanted to do was spend time with him, make dinner and wait for him, silly me, showing how madly I was attracted to him. As days went by, he started coming home late and almost after midnight. The early days of waiting for him with butterflies in my stomach died down. Slowly, I understood the reason why his wife must have left him. He was obsessed with his work. He rarely had time for me, and I felt like I was trapped with this old man. I knew that my marriage was a strategic move, but I still wanted some love and affection. He could have easily been my sugar daddy, but I chose to marry him. I expected some emotional connection from him. I was shocked to see myself behave like a typical wife and get mad at him for not spending time with me. I tried to talk to Caleb about me feeling unloved and unattended, but I held myself back, realizing what the hell I was thinking. I slapped myself for thinking that I was behaving like I was in love with him, which I was not. I did have a secret that Caleb had no idea about. I was secretly supporting my boyfriend, Steven, with Caleb's money. We would go out on trips and shopping while he had no clue. Every time he was on a business trip, Steven would come over and stay with me. Steven would even make fun of me, saying that sometimes it didn't feel like I was acting out my feelings for Caleb. He was scared at how good I was that it looked so real. I myself had doubts if I was acting or doing it out of habit. I don't know when the lines become blurred, and I felt something for Caleb. I also started feeling guilty as I did not expect him to be this sweet. Initially, I would keep praying that Caleb never loses his workaholic traits so that I get to spend more time with Steven. I was glad that I agreed to Steven's idea of getting married to a rich guy so that both our lives would get comfortable. Even if someday I decide to get a divorce, I would get a grand house and a huge bank balance as alimony that we could use to get married in real. It was the perfect plan. Nothing could have gone wrong. I liked the idea of not wasting my younger years struggling to find a job and keep up with expenses. This looked like an easy way out. When will all this beauty come in good use that I had been working so hard to maintain? Stephen and I would sit at a cafe and shortlist men who had accomplished a good life for themselves and see if we could trap one of them. Caleb was not our first target, but somehow it worked out in our favor and everything fell into place. We did not have to work so hard as Caleb was already blown away by my beauty, so we just rolled with it. I was once caught at home with Stephen when Caleb had come home unannounced to surprise me. I had introduced Stephen to him as my cousin, who just moved to the city in search of a job. I did not know how I could come up with something like that, but it worked. Caleb did not suspect a thing and even offered Stephen to stay with us till he found a job and a decent place. I asked Stephen to deny it and say that he was living with friends and had just come to meet me for a brief while. Caleb acted normal without any suspicions, so I breathed a sigh of relief. I did give him the best time during the night, showing how much I missed him while he way away, so that any suspicions that he had were erased. I know I am a little cunning when I must be. I made sure that there were no loose ends or anything that could make Caleb think that I was lying or cheating on him. It was my 30th birthday, and Caleb said that he wanted me to celebrate it with a bang. He asked me to invite whoever I wanted, as he wanted to go all out for it. Obviously, I did not mind it at all. I made sure to show off having a grand party to all my friends who degraded me for choosing money over love. It was going to be a cruise party over the weekend, and I knew that they would come to at least check out how I was doing in life. I wanted to show off my wealth and how well my husband treated me to all the people who opposed me while I was marrying Caleb. I wanted to show them how wrong they were and how happy I was in my marriage. On the day before we left for my birthday celebrations, Caleb did mention Stephen and asked me to invite him as well if he was free. He told me that he knew how this city would make you feel lonely if you had no job and no money. I did not suspect a thing and invited Stephen. I told him that maybe we could sneak out and make out on the ship. It would be something that we had not done. We were both very excited to try out making out at new places when Caleb was not around. Little did I know that things were going to change so much by the end of my birthday. My life was going to change in such a way that I never expected my 30s to be like this. My life was going to change in such a drastic way, which would be difficult to comprehend for days to come. As I expected, all my friends from college had shown up. They were shocked to see Stephen also being invited, as they all knew about us. We were the love-struck couple in college. I told my friends not to mention this in front of Caleb for obvious reasons. I also lied that Stephen and Caleb were friends, and I did not want to ruin their friendship, so I never mentioned dating Stephen to Caleb. I was not very sure if they would agree, but to my surprise, everyone felt like it would be the right thing to do. I mean, they were not as bad as I thought they were. Caleb asked me to spend time with my friends as he had some things to take care of. Since it was like a college reunion, we started sharing old stories and revealing secrets that were a big deal while we were in college. We were pouring down drinks like water, and I was showing off that they could drink whatever they liked, as it was my husband who was paying the bill. We decided that we should play truth or dare while drunk. As you know, that's when it gets interesting. When it was my turn, someone asked me if I found my husband attractive. I very quickly replied no, I never found him attractive. The only thing I find attractive is his money, and started laughing. I did not even realize when those words came out of my mouth. We all started laughing after that. Thankfully, Caleb was not around to hear all the shit that I was talking about him. The alcohol made my tongue so loose that I was almost about to give away the secret, and me and Stephen were still together. Thank God I just stopped talking shit about Caleb. The next day, Caleb had organized a play that portrayed our story so far, how we met and how he fell for me the moment he saw me in our marriage. It felt like I was living my dream when suddenly there was some technical difficulty and the show stopped abruptly. Caleb walked up to the platform and said that he was going to continue from here. He narrated everything again of how he met a girl who he thought was innocent and pure, fell in love with her, and got married. What he did not know was how great an actor his wife would be to hide the fact that she already had a boyfriend at the time when she was getting married. Everyone gasped and started staring at me with their eyes piercing my soul. I became pale and my entire body froze. I had no clue how to react and even forgot to breathe for a second. Caleb said that the only person whom he trusted was the one who had been making a fool of him right from the moment we met. The spotlight was now on me and Stephen. Caleb continued and said that he would like to invite me and Stephen on stage for everyone to see. I felt ashamed standing there with everyone looking straight at me. Caleb said that he was a very successful businessman, but never ever once doubted that his wife could do something like this. He was both amazed and disappointed at me for agreeing to marry someone else for money while being in love with another guy. He said that I was not very different from prostitutes who slept with people for money. I was basically doing the same thing, but the difference was at least they are proud of what they do. I could not believe that Caleb was comparing me to prostitutes. How could he fall so low? I looked at Stephen, who was trying to act as if he was not involved in any of this. He started distancing himself from me. I was crushed by his behavior, as this was all his idea, and now he was acting as if he did not even know me, or I forced him to do this. Caleb made me look guilty and humiliated me in front of all the people I knew. I had nothing to say, as I knew that anything I say is just going to put me in trouble. I am just waiting for the party to get over and everyone to leave me alone. The entire next day was me trying to avoid anyone and everyone who had questions that they wanted to ask me. I tried to find Stephen but could not reach him in his room or anywhere. He was gone, disappeared. We were in the middle of nowhere, and I did not understand where he could be hiding. There are only so many places that one could sneak into on a boat. There is no way that he could get off the boat in the middle of nowhere. I could not find him anywhere, and decided to deal with it after we reached land, as right now, all I wanted was to hide my face from all the people who gave me judgmental looks for my actions. I could not even take help from my friends, as I knew that they were all waiting to pounce at me for hiding the fact that I was, in fact, with Stephen all this time. As the boat kept moving towards its destination, I started making sense of things that happened last night and what I should do next. Should I leave Caleb and get together with Stephen? Or should I apologize to Caleb and ask him for forgiveness and have a new start? After we reached the port, I was kicked out of the boat in a very unholy manner, as expected. Caleb had instructed me not to try and reach him, as he wanted no interaction with me at all. Since everything I owned belonged to him, I had no right to a single thing in his house. He said that he did not want to waste any more of his precious time on a cheater like me, and never wanted to see my face ever again. He also told me to forget about alimony or any kind of financial help from him, as he was done with me for good. I felt a mixture of anger and sadness as his words kept playing again and again. I had a little money in my account that I was planning to spend on hotels after this party was over. I used that money to rent a cheap room in a cheap locality for the time being, so that I could figure things out. I tried reaching Stephen so many times, but his phone was switched off. I realized after 2 days that he must have abandoned me, and now I was all alone. While writing this, I am going through all the worst decisions that I had taken in my life. The biggest of them all was not cutting ties with Stephen at the right time. Maybe I deserved the love and affection of Caleb. If only I had understood that Stephen was the red flag all along, then my life would not have been in such a mess. I doubted that one of my college friends would have gotten jealous of me and spilled the beans to Caleb and Stephen. I wanted to know who it was that ruined my life. I did not care what stupid reason they had to do that. I guess I was just trying to shift the blame on someone else, so that I could feel less guilty about what I did to Caleb. I knew that Caleb did not want to see me or even think about me, but I felt that I needed closure. I wanted to know how he found out and who helped him ruin my secret affair. So I made up my mind and decided to confront him and ask him how he figured out what was going on. I was willing to go through with all the humiliation that he would throw my way before he answered any of my questions. I knew that it was not going to be easy to face him after everything that happened. I knew that it was important so that I could get some closure and take my chances to see if there was any possibility of him forgiving me. It was always good to see if luck is on my side and things could get a little better from how they currently were. I sent a very desperate message to Caleb, literally begging him to meet me so that I could get closure. Of course, it was not very easy to convince him, but, being married has its own privileges. I kind of knew how I could make him agree to meet me one last time. He said that this would be the last time he was doing anything for me, since I was sounding very desperate. I thanked him for being so generous and kind as always. Obviously, I was going to take my chances to see if he was willing to forgive me. You know how the saying goes, Time heals everything. I was expecting him not to be as mad as he was a couple of months ago. He did seem a little calmer and more composed than what he was on the day when he asked me not to show my face. I could tell that he was still pissed and was only talking to me because he was a polite man. As soon as we sat down, he quickly got to the point and asked me what I needed from him. I was a little surprised that he did not even ask me how I was doing or trying to have some small talk and jump into business. He was very cold towards me, which was understandable. I decided not to waste much time and asked him how he found out about my affair with Stephen. He laughed and said that after all this time, this was what was urgent that made me come all the way here. I told him that I was feeling so guilty and couldn't wrap my head around how things quickly spiral between us. He laughed at that and said there was never us. It was always just him who was trying to be the perfect husband and made sure that his wife was happy. He really wanted his second match to work and even try not to repeat the same mistakes. He said that maybe he was never going to be lucky in marriage. He had completely lost faith in any kind of companionship after what I had done to him. He then cleared his throat and said that it was all in the past, and all he wanted was to forget everything and move on. Since I was insisting that I wanted to know how he knew, and promised to leave him alone after that, he decided to tell me how he went about the entire situation. Caleb said that he had hired a private detective agency to keep an eye on me when he started noticing a lot of hotel bills on the credit card that he gave me. I had no idea, and like a dummy kept on using them. It struck me that it was me who had sabotaged myself. I was the only one to blame for my downfall and no one else. He then started keeping tabs of why I was spending money on men's clothing when he was receiving any of it. I must confess that I had become more and more bold with my spendings, since Caleb was neither questioning nor checking on what I was spending on. I would give him a few things here and there, so that he remained in the illusion that I was the perfect wife. He then said that he was a little hesitant, as he did not want to come across as a person who does not trust his partner while hiring someone to follow me. But since the discrepancies were a lot, he did not have a choice. He was very sure that it was just his mind playing games with him, and there was nothing that he would find out, so he kept reassuring himself that he was doing all this so that he could rest his mind once and for all. That is what he kept telling himself till things started to unravel, and he could not justify my actions anymore. When he started digging into who Stephen was and how I knew him, that's what blew his mind. This was not like a new fling that I had started, but I was with someone all along, even while we were dating, and when he proposed to me. It was what boiled his blood that he was so blinded by love that he did not even see any of the signs that he was being cheated. He then made up his mind that he did not want to be fooled anymore, so he formulated a perfect plan to humiliate me in front of all the people that I knew, since I made him look like a joke. He wanted me to know how it feels when all eyes are on you for all the wrong reasons. Also, he did not want me to gain any sympathy from anyone after my mask was taken off, since he believed that I was such a good actress and could convince anyone that I was the victim. He carefully and meticulously planned this big deal around my birthday and made sure that no one was left and everyone was invited. He knew that just discussing this within 4 walls would not give him that satisfaction of humiliating me in public. He wanted to make sure that no one would want to have anything to do with me after the big reveal happened. He predicted everything so well that it happened exactly as he had imagined it in his head. I kept listening to him and realized that I had messed with the wrong guy. I should not have agreed to cheating on him from the start. With Stephen out of the picture, I did not know if Caleb would ever be able to take me back. From the way he was talking to me, it did not look like it was going to be easy. I immediately knew that I made a big mistake in my life. Even if I had listened to Stephen and married Caleb, I should have dumped Stephen and stayed loyal to Caleb. I was confident that he would never disappear on me in such hard times, unlike Stephen. I told Caleb that there was a point where I genuinely liked him and wanted him to think of me as a good wife. He laughed and said that he knew why I was revealing this to him. He also mentioned that it was very convenient of me to say such nice things about me, since Stephen was neither answering my calls nor trying to help me out of this situation. I was surprised to see how he knew what was happening in my life. Caleb could sense what I was thinking from my expressions. He smirked in a wicked way and said that there was no guessing what Stephen loved more than me. Obviously, if he was willing to let the girl he loved to marry someone else for a comfortable life, then the only thing he loved was money. All he had to do was give Stephen a deal that he could never refuse, and that's all it took for him to disappear from my life. Not once did he ask Caleb what he was going to do with me, and just accepted what he was offered and left. These words pierced my heart because the guy who I had blindly trusted all my life had left me alone for some money and did not even try and look back at me. I realized that Stephen never loved me and was only using my beauty to rob a rich guy so that he could have a comfortable life as long as he could. In my stupidity, I lost Caleb, who genuinely loved me. Maybe if I had come clean to him about it before he found out about Stephen, he would have even been willing to forgive me and give our relationship a new start. My fear of leaving Stephen and making a new start with Caleb, even if I knew deep down that it would be the right thing to do, ruined my entire life. After telling me everything, Caleb asked me to make a move and leave his house. He added that he would now have to disinfect the house, as he did not want any cheating germs from me to be left in his house. I knew that he was taking a dig at me, but it was a valid one, and there was nothing much I could do about it. Slowly making my way towards the door, all I could feel was shame and guilt. I realized that I ruined my life with my own hands by trusting someone who was never to be trusted. As I kept walking, my heart grew heavier with each step as I knew that this would be the last time I would ever be in this house. Caleb's attitude clearly told me that I was never welcome in this house anymore. I knew that I had no other choice but to accept the consequences for my actions. It was painful, but it was a fact that I would have to live with it for the rest of my life. So, guys, this is my entire story of how one single mistake screwed up my whole life for me. I know that I was wrong from the start, but I truly feel like I should have been given a second chance with Caleb. After he left me, I realized how much he took care of even the little things that mattered to me. I am now trying to figure out a way to try and see that maybe someday he would be willing to forgive me and take me back. I know that it is not going to be easy, but I can keep trying and asking him for his forgiveness. My life had taken a complete turn, and I now work as a waitress at a bar where drunk men pass sleazy comments on me. It is something that I never imagined I would do at this stage of my life. I miss my life with Caleb with each passing day. I don't know if I will ever be able to get myself out of this situation. I don't think I am the right person to be giving advice to anyone. But for whatever it's worth, if you have read so far, then please, I would request everyone to trust your instinct and make the right choice. If you think that maybe coming clean is going to change your life for the better, then please go ahead and give it a try. It would be much better coming from you than from your partner finding out about it and then losing complete faith in you. Honesty might help you get away with even the biggest blunders that you have made if you are sincere about being apologetic about it. Thank you all for being kind and spending your precious time on my story. It means a lot to me. This is the only upside in my life after such a disastrous chain of events.